The NINJAGO update in LEGO Fortnite Odyssey was massive, and it brought so many quest lines. So let me break down how to complete every single quest. In yesterday's video, I broke down how to complete the introduction quest, so I'm not going to go over that again today. However, I did want to let you guys know that if you weren't getting your nunchucks to start your mission, it is a bug and Epic is aware of it. They are working on a fix, so if you weren't able to complete that portion, there should be a fix out soon. We're going to start our quest line and start this video by speaking to Lloyd, and this is when we're able to finally leave our base. Prior to this, everything is self-explanatory as they walk you through every single step of your quest line. Once you speak to Lloyd, he's going to allow you to jump off the side of this mountain and then allow you to start questing on your own. But that's where things get challenging for all of us. Our first real quest is to complete a combat chaos challenge. Chaos challenges are very important because they are going to help you gain the materials that you're going to need throughout your quests. This first one is considered a combat chaos challenge, which means all that we need to do is defeat the enemies in order to complete it. However, this isn't the only type of combat challenge that's out there, so make sure that you guys are reading the top right corner when you're completing these in order to know exactly what to do. Our second quest is one of the best in the game, or one of the coolest in the game. It's the fact that when you open up your map and you open up where your monastery is, you could press a button to directly teleport to that. So when you're roaming around the NINJAGO village, you can open up your map anywhere that you are and teleport right back. The next quest is to unlock and take a look at our mastery tab. So let me teach you guys exactly about this. Inside of the mastery tab is where we're going to be able to unlock charms, weapons, and even some elemental powers. This is very important because they did raise the amount of essence that you have up to 10,000, allowing you to stack even more, which is going to help allow you to create even more weapons, more charms, and upgrade them so much faster. You can open up chests around this area, but you should have the ingredients made to create a ritual altar. This is the most important workstation in the game now, as this is how you create the ingredients that will make every single weapon and charm in the game. You're going to need a lot of honed bamboo as well as ritual oil, which we will cover later as it is part of our quests. We're going to need to make a charm or a nunchuck that is graded as a 5-star or better. Now, in order to do this, we're then going to need that ritual oil, and the best way to do this without wasting too much time is to go out into the wild and search for some mini games. You guys can do different ones, such as the one that I just did, which was collecting scrolls. You can complete more chaos challenges or any other mini game that pops up. Now, these typically will drop you those green or uncommon ritual oils, and once you have enough of those, you could then return back to your base. Once you're at your base, you're going to go up to your ritual altar and you're going to create 3 of the honed bamboo. What this is going to allow you to do is create those uncommon weapons that give you that level 5 or that tier 5 star 5. Go back up to the top and then open up the ninja workbench. Go into your nunchucks area, and this is going to allow you to place together both the honed wood as well as regular bamboo, and that is going to create that weapon for you. You're also going to need to make health charms, which is the exact same ingredients, except this time you are going to have to use one of the bandanas that you get when you're fighting regular enemies. Those are one of the most common items in the game, so you probably already have them at this point. Next up, we need to go to the ice sanctum, which I see that a lot of people in my comment sections are a little bit confused about, but this is marked on your map as a snowflake, and what you're going to need to do is travel there. Before you guys do this, I definitely recommend bringing a bus station with you. That way you could fast travel to and from there. It's very important because there is very likely you will need to leave here and return back to your main villages to grab different resources, or you're going to be exploring a lot and it just makes it a little bit faster to return to Zane. When you get to Zane, you are going to need to defeat the boss in order to bring down the barrier. Now, this isn't fighting Zane. This is fighting the enemies that are out front of here. But when you guys are doing this, once once you defeat them all, not only will you have decent materials, but you will also then bring down that barrier to begin that quest line. Now, you are going to notice that this is a common trend. It doesn't matter who you're speaking to. Even if you go to speak to Cole when you're going and you're doing the Earth style of quest, you're still going to need to defeat the enemies to bring down that barrier. So always expect a fight when you're going to speak to a new Ninjago character. In order to get yourself the Novice Ice Shrine or the Ice Ink, you then just press on the logo of the snow that is directly next to Zane's village. Your next objective is going to be to create a Novice Ice Spinjitzu scroll. Go into your mastery, select the Ice class, and spend the 200 essence in order to create it. I mentioned earlier how important it was to have extra ritual oil as well as that bamboo, and that's because you needed it in order to create the Ice Spinjitzu scroll, which we are going to have to equip in order to progress through the quest line. The next part of the quest is creating the shuriken, which is going to require extra essence. It can be found inside of your ninja masteries, and what you're going to need to do is do the unlock requirements in order to get it. I believe it cost about 800 total essence in order to unlock the shurikens to progress. Once you've unlocked these, you're then going to craft them. They require 3 of that bamboo. Once you've done this, the next part of the quest line is going to be clearing out chaos challenges. Now, we talked about this earlier, but you guys are able to do this just by completing those red portals that appear all over the map. Hitting enemies with shurikens is as easy as it sounds. Walk up to them, throw them, and that quest is complete. We then need to speak with Zane again. This time, he's going to tell us that what we need to do is create a pyrokinesis relic. Now, this is where things get a little bit confusing for a lot of us. You guys are able to find this inside of your masteries for ice. What you need to do is go and use all of your essence in order to unlock this. It does cost a decent amount, so I hope that a lot of you had this saved up. Once you guys go into the ninja workbench, go on to the final area of this, and that is where you guys are going to find this relic. You need to make sure that it is the proper one, so make sure that you guys aren't creating the ice relic and are creating the pyrokinesis relic. Now, this part of the video is very important, so focus up here. You are going to need a ton of energy, and each energy is specific to the enemy that you are defeating. So right here, I defeated an ice shell crab, and what that gave me was 1 ice energy. When you guys are creating the relics, you are going to notice that they require a certain type of energy. So make sure that when you guys are running around your map, if you see a shell crab, that you guys are going and fighting them to earn yourself the energy needed. We then need to create a 6-star weapon. Now, this requires more rare type of bamboo. This is going to be the blue type, which you guys can find by completing a lot of those chaos challenges that you guys were doing. What you guys need to then do is take that honed bamboo, the rare type, and throw that in to create either nunchucks or the shurikens. Just placing that blue version in there will make it level 6. Ninja Masters can be found hiding inside of bushes or even wandering around inside of known and marked locations that have to do with the chaos challenges. The one that I found here was just out in the wild. Of course, it happened to be an ice master, which wasn't very easy for me because at the start of this, you guys are already using ice, so you're not going to do much damage against this. So what I recommend doing is switching the attack style that you're using and use a weapon that does not have ice attached to it, as you will end up doing more damage. Once you guys defeat this 1 master, that'll complete that part of the quest. You've now completed all of Zane's quests. You'll have to go back and speak to Lloyd, and he's going to start putting you on even newer quests. This one in particular is going to be to close portals. It tells you to close 3 of them, and the difficulty in this is that the first one is pretty easy to find. The second one is pretty easy to find, but trying to find a 3rd portal is very difficult. What I recommend doing is just trying to unlock as much as your map as possible. It's going to be difficult to find 3 of these, so you may as well unlock as much of the area as you can. You're then going to need to defeat 3 Ninja Betrayer Masteries, and in order to do this, you don't want to wander around and try to find them in bushes. Now you want to look for these marked areas on the map that have to do with the shrines. They will show up all over your map, so you could go directly to them. The bosses are going to have a red skull icon over them. That is going to be the masters that you want to fight against. My best recommendation is to try to solo them out, because if you get a bear involved or you get two of them involved at the same time, it is not going to be an easy day for you. However, if you can get them singled out, it doesn't become the hardest fight in the world. I would bring a lot of heals, bring a counter because you will know what type of enemy you're going against, and pray that you only get one of them at a time. The Lost Master can be found really anywhere on the map. He's going to be dug into the ground like what the old shell crabs were on our worlds. Now, while it seems like a pretty tough enemy from what you're watching, it actually is a pretty easy boss fight. What you need to do is do enough damage to knock the helmet off of him. And once you do that, it'll then allow you to do critical damage every single time that you attack. Now, the attacks that he's going to do are going to be a charge, a swipe, and he also does have a ranged attack. So my recommendation is to ensure that you guys have your stamina, you are able to use spinjitzu to move around and get that movement out of the way, and then go in for the attacks in between his attacks. Once you're able to do the critical damage, he will go down fairly easily. It's funny that we go from very extreme and difficult challenges to collecting rice, but all that we need to do is find these rice farms that are down here. They look just like this on the water, and just walk up and collect that. Then return back to the monastery, talk little Lloyd, and then we can advance to the next quest. We are going to need to use a pickaxe here, which does mean that we need to unlock the dragon opal mining, which does cost 1,000 essence. We also have to unlock some of the charms prior to that to then fully unlock the mining because of the material that we're going to be farming. We're going to need to find dragon opal, which we can find on the side of every single mountain in the game just about. Once you guys have this, you can use a tier 3 pickaxe or a blue rare pickaxe in order to farm this. Obviously, the better the material in your pickaxe, the faster it's going to be to destroy these. Now, I recommend staying out here for a while because you're not going to just need these dragon opals for now. You are going to need them for later, and you only get 1 opal per breaking, so make sure that you guys are getting 30 or more while you're out here farming. Once we have enough dragon opal, we're going to go back to our village and open up the ritual altar. We can then place the dragon opal in here along with the purple ritual oil that we unlocked from fighting the Lost Master. Those are the 2 ingredients that we need in order to complete that task with Lloyd. Then we need to clear out more chaos challenges, and when we finish, we can go back and speak to Lloyd, who is then going to pass us on to Jay, who is going to be the lightning sanctum. Now, this will again be marked on your map. There's other lightnings that may be marked, but what you want to look for is the same icon that we had for the snowflake, and then go to that. It shouldn't have any numbers near it. Once you get to Jay, you'll need to defeat a few ninjas in order to break the barrier down. Although it says 5, I believe you need to do a little bit less than that. The next quest is to unlock the lightning spinjitzu scroll, which does cost over 1,500 total essence. But once you guys have it, it is one of the best in the game. You can claim your reward next to it in order to get the lightning ink, which will be required for making new weapons. Place down a ninja workbench, that way you can create the advanced lightning spinjitzu scroll, and this will get you started on some actual quest line. It gets a little confusing here, and I made a mistake because you're supposed to make a power surge relic, where I made just a regular power relic. Make sure that you guys are reading it properly and creating the right relic here. Once you've made the power surge relic, things get a little bit confusing again because we have a new area inside of our workbench for the relic slot. So make sure on the right side you guys are paying attention here, and when you guys are creating your weapon and placing in your power surge relic, you guys are putting it inside of the relic available slot. You guys cannot go in there and place this relic in later. If you played the superhero update, then you know how to charge up your weapon. If not, all that you need to do is attack enemies with it, and then it'll charge the weapon. Then you press your secondary attack and it'll do a new style of attack. The lightning one in this case is pretty cool because you single an enemy out, charge at them, and slam them with lightning. We have to return and talk to Jay again, and this is where I just want to give you guys a friendly reminder to bring any type of bus stations with you. That way you can place them down at all of these locations so that you're not constantly running back and forth. Don't overthink the defeating 3 elemental rollers. Every single element here counts, so whether it's earth, ice, or fire, you could destroy any of them and that will count. Defeating a golem isn't very easy when it comes to using the Ninjago world because I'm not entirely sure where the best place is to find them. However, you guys can go into your Lost Isles world, climb onto one of the islands, and it'll still count defeating the golem towards that quest. That same rule applies when it comes to creating a hasty potion. If you don't have the ingredients inside of the Ninjago island, go back to your main village and create the potion there. Remember earlier how I told you to collect extra dragon opals? That was because you are going to need them later in order to craft a level 7 weapon, which is going to be the next task that you need to do for Jay and the final quest that you need to do for Jay. With enough of these dragon opals crafted, you can go in and you could use them to craft any of the nunchucks or shurikens in order to make a level 7 epic weapon. Cole is the next Ninjago character that we need to speak to, and he's right here at the monastery, so we don't need to leave and go and find exactly where he's at, although we are going to need to go towards that POI because there are still some quests there. Remember, we do need to collect ink from every single one of these POIs, so make sure that you do have a bus station nearby. In the meantime, you're going to need to craft steamed rice. You should already have rice from an earlier quest that you did with Lloyd, so craft 3 of these at the grill that's located right behind where we've crafted most of our weapons. You're going to need to speak to Cole again after making the steamed rice, but this time he's going to tell you that you need to visit the Earth Sanctum. Now again, on your map you will see where this is located. There's no numbers nearby and it will have an icon just like what you had with the lightning and even the ice. So make sure that you grab an extra bus station and travel over that way. It may be bugged for you the same way that it was for me, but you are still going to need to collect the Earth ink. So walk up inside of the barrier and you should be able to still interact with the wall and then the chest in order to get the Earth ink. Some of these quests you guys are already going to know how to complete, like defeating another betrayer master. Again, just go to one of the locations marked on the map and you should always find one there. This is where the game gets a little bit slower and a lot more expensive when it comes to essence. After you speak to Cole, as he's one of the final NPCs that we're going to need to speak to, you are going to need to level up the Earth Mastery all the way up to its epic version, which will cost over 5,000 essence. Not only that, but you'll also need a relic in there. So what I recommend doing is going back into your main world and farming as much essence as humanly possible before returning to your Ninjago world. You guys already know what I'm going to recommend doing. Find an Aspire on the map, make it very low HP, and then fight the enemy waves that spawn without defeating the actual spire itself. Every single enemy that you fight will give you 50 essence in total, so about 500 each wave. Anytime that no enemies spawn, you're going to hit a bus station nearby and land right back onto the same spire that you're working on, and even more enemies will spawn. This gives you over 1,000 essence every few minutes, which will help you max out every elemental power. I'm going to have a video covering how to get the right ritual oils while you guys are playing, but in order to finish one of the final quests for Cole, you are going to need to make the Geokinesis Relic, and in order to do this, you are going to need the purple or epic ritual oil, and the only ways to get this are by lucky loot drops or guaranteed by fighting the Lost Master. So if you guys are able to go out and find a few Lost Masters, that will definitely help you when it comes to creating that relic and really any of the epic style of weapons. Once you create that relic and you place it onto one of your weapons, you just have to charge it up like you've done before. This relic is really cool as it lifts up this gigantic wall that you can even throw at enemies. I tested this on a brute and it absolutely destroys them as it does so much damage. Let's talk about the second to last quest here that's given to us by Lloyd. Now this is to craft an 8-star shuriken or nunchuck at a ninja workbench. Here's the difficulty in this. In order to craft one of these, we're going to need a bunch of legendary ritual oil. Now, how we get that ritual oil is kind of up for debate. We don't really know exactly how we unlock this. I believe that one guaranteed way is to defeat a dragon, which is very difficult to try to do. Not just that, the other way that we may be able to do it, from what I've been told, is that we may be able to place luck onto our weapon and then fight enemies that guarantee us at least a purple ritual oil, and hopefully get lucky enough that they do drop a gold one. Now, the problem with this is this will take a very long time. In order to make one bamboo shuriken, we're going to need 6 total legendary bamboos. Now, in order to make those, we're going to need 6 legendary ritual oils. So this is a very long task right now in the game, and because of that, I wasn't able to complete it before finishing today's video, although I will say I did try very hard when it comes to luck on my weapons to defeat these enemies in hopes to get them. Now, I believe that the only guaranteed way to get legendary ritual oil as well as legendary ink and anything needed for these legendary weapons is to fight a dragon. I gave this a shot. It's extremely difficult. I'll have a video up on exactly how to defeat them in the easiest way possible very soon, but for right now, take that risk if you'd like. Fighting the dragons is very hard. Nonetheless, I hope that today's video helps every single one of you complete every single quest that's available in the game as we prepare for a part 2 update in the next month or two. I think that we have a lot of preparing to set up for, as we could fully expect more dragons, more enemies, more materials, more NPCs, and a complete change to our Ninjago world. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, guys, this was Crafty, and I'm out. Peace. Help me reach 100,000 subscribers by pressing the subscribe button down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and check out those 2 recommended videos as well. YouTube thinks you'll really like them.